Member.
Thank you. How many FTEs does the Ministry of Agriculture currently have?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. FTEs are budgeted at the corporate level, and I please ask the member opposite to direct FTE questions to the Minister of Labour and Citizen Services at the appropriate time.
Member.
Does the Minister of Agriculture not know how many full-time employees work for the Ministry of Agriculture?
Minister.
FTEs are budgeted at the corporate level. I ask the member opposite to direct her questions to the Minister of Labour and Citizen Services.
Member.
This is part of the budget for agriculture. Can the minister please tell me how many FTEs work for the Ministry of Agriculture?
Minister.
FTEs are budgeted at the corporate level. Labour and Citizen Services are the ministry. You should canvass that when they come up for their estimates.
Member.
They may be budgeted at that level, but the minister should have an idea how many FTEs work for the Ministry of Agriculture. It's not a complicated question.
You're right.
Minister. Member.
What's the answer?
Is that
Well-
honestly not covered under the Ministry of Agriculture budget estimates?
Well, the member may not like the answer.
Let's
The
get an answer.
minister has answered the question. Does the member have another question? Member from Surrey Fleetwood?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I think this is a very legitimate question to ask. These are the estimates. The member is asking a question about the particular Ministry of Agriculture. And there's a set expense for that ministry, and there's a set number of people working in that ministry. And I think this is a very legitimate question to ask, and the minister should respond to it, Mr. Chair.
Minister.
The members opposite are looking in the blue books. FTEs are not reported in the budget document.
No problem. Thanks very much, Mr. Chair. Well, maybe I can try this with the minister. Perhaps he could tell this House what the programs are in the Ministry of Agriculture and who are the staff that deliver those programs. Could he name each of those staff and how many hours do they work within those programs, one by one?
Minister.
Thank you. In vote 14, under total salaries and benefits, the members opposite will note vote 14, there is $25,494,000 devoted towards salaries and benefits. Vote 15, which is the ALC, total salaries and benefits are $1.531 million.
Member.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's not the question I asked. I asked the minister in his ministry what other programs to which he delivers under that ministry that he's responsible for and who delivers them. Could he name the staff that delivers them and how many hours do they work? Perhaps we can then figure out how many FTE actually works in his ministry, a basic question that the minister should actually have knowledge about.
Minister.
While the members opposite may not enjoy the answer, FTEs are budgeted at the corporate level. Questions such as this are designed to be asked towards the Minister of Labour and Citizen Services.
Member.
Well, let's start from branch by branch. Let us ask this question. How many staff works for the minister at his executive branch, in his office? Maybe he can name the staff and how many they are, and how many hours do they work? Maybe you can tell us that to begin with that.
I have a feeling I'm not going to be, received well with this answer. But again, I'll say our staffing budget with benefits in the minister's office is $393,000. But FTE questions are budgeted, or FTE issues are budgeted at the corporate level. They should be directed to the Minister of Labour and Citizen Services, and that will be my answer many, many times.
Member.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. You know, I've been here since 1996, and I've done many, many, many sets of estimates. I have never seen a display such as this, where the minister wouldn't actually provide a basic question, answer to a basic question around how many FTEs actually work within his ministry. He may say and refer that to a different minister. A minister who is actually good on the job would then endeavor to say that I'll find out the answer for you, member. That's what I've heard in the past with ministers who want to be cooperative, who want to be open, accountable, and transparent, and provide the answers. So it is rather shocking that this is the kind of display that I'm seeing here today. I don't want to waste time here. That's not the purpose of the estimates. The purpose of the estimates is to get at information that would be valuable to British Columbians. Clearly, the minister is not interested in providing answers to basic questions that he should be aware of in his own ministry.
Minister.
Thank you for your opinion, and I've also spent much of the last 7 hours, but yesterday and the day before, answering questions that are not directly related to the budget. I've been very forthcoming, and yes, I'm sorry I have not appeased your answers here, but they will be answered by the Minister of Labour and Citizen Services because FTEs are budgeted at the corporate level.
Member from Vancouver.
Yeah, I'll just close with this, Mr. Chair. You know, it seems to me that the minister should actually know the folks that work for him program by program, branch by branch, and how many folks that actually work with him in that ministry. After all, he is responsible for the delivery of those programs. He may say, technically, that is not a question within his purview in this ministry, but practically, the minister should endeavor to find out his portfolio.
Member from South.
Thank you.
South.
Thanks. So maybe I'll try and educate the minister. From what I can tell from public accounts, the equivalent FTEs are probably around 341. Back in year 2000, there were 516. So can the minister confirm those numbers and the drop in employees in the Ministry of Agriculture over the last 10 years?
Minister.
Thank you very much. And I know the member opposite is passionate about agriculture, and I also know she probably is aware that the ministry has actually gone through some transformations. In 2001, I believe, though I wasn't in government, it was ag, lands, and fish. It then became ags and lands, and now it is ag. We no longer are responsible for the lands portion of the ministry as it was back in the day, which was a substantial portion of the ministry. The fishery, obviously, we canvassed yesterday with the Hinkson decision. A good portion of fish responsibility now resides with the federal government. And when it comes to fish farm tenure, that resides now with FLNRO, as does the ranching elements for the ranching community of British Columbia, which has a number of staff and resources devoted there. So to say that the Ministry of Agriculture does the exact same job today in 2012 as it did in 2001 would be unfair and misleading.
Member.
So it sounds to me like the minister has some idea how many FTEs work for the Ministry of Agriculture. Can the minister confirm is there more or less than 341 employees?
Minister.
Well, it's going to be an enjoyable time. We are talking about going forward. We are talking about next year. We are budgeting $25,493,000 for Vote 14 for salaries and benefits. For the Agricultural Land Commission, which is Vote 15, we are budgeting $1,531,000. However, if there are questions to do with FTEs, they're budgeted at the corporate level, and they should canvass the Minister of Labour and Citizen Services.